Hello, everybody. My name is Jared. I am the master of comics, and joining me, as always, is the dweebest of dweebs, the man with the worst taste in ships, Nick Phoenix. How you doing, Nick?
Not bad. I will say this was quite a freaky Friday on Titan's Tower.
Yeah, I mean, I figured we'd switch things up this episode. all right. Okay. So the gimmick aside, we're covering the Teen Titans episode Switch, which also, can I just say, I texted you this thing. I find it really, like, if I had a nickel for every time we covered an episode where two characters switch bodies, I'd have 2 nickels. But it's weird that's happened twice in the same week.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird how that lined up.
So these episodes go out, Monday morning, and then his goes out the next day. We're covering the episode of Justice League where Flash and Lex Luthor switch bodies, and in this one, Raven and Starfire do. Like, that is like, I just, like you said, it's weird that like they lined up. That is so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically, it starts out. We get like they get a package in the mail, and like they throw caution to the wind. They open it. They're not the brightest people,
No, they're not. Well, they are teens, so that explains it.
Also, quick aside, I know they call it puppets throughout the show, but actually they're marionettes.
Marionettes. Yeah, I know. It's very inaccurate. It's almost like it was written by Bruce Timm. I'm sorry, I had to. That's why obligatory Bruce Timm.
I think I'm getting close to the point of banning his name. You entering his name.
That'll be a why did you say that name?
Maybe, but yeah. So at night. By the way, this show has a lot of horror elements into it, which it really does.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's actually really cool how they do it, but do it in a kiddie way.
Spirits comes out, they go into the marionettes. I'm just gonna call them puppets for now because it's easier.
They're called marionettes. You have to get it right, Nick. Be accurate.
Oh my god, you're gonna make me commit to the bit, aren't you?
Yes, Jews call them marionettes.
Fine, I'll call you a bad person. But no. So they get sucked into the dolls, and but for some reason, Starfire and Raven don't, and they have a little old switcheroo. And I like how for the first part, like you can't really see who's talking. They do in the shadows, and then like the reveal that they switch.
My one dig, I think this was a wasted opportunity if they had actually if they had not switched voice actors. In other words, if it was still the Raven voice, if it was still Tara Strong voicing Raven, but she had to sound like Starfire now, I think that would have been a little funnier.
Oh, you mean like the compliment that I'm going to give Justice League here in about a half hour?
Yeah, exactly. I wish they had done that. All in all, great. They did it really well. It's just I would have liked that little bit more of humor.
Also, a little bit of a tangent. Here's my favorite moment from the Justice League. Because I'm evil.
Yeah, I love that.
Which, okay, we'll get to that. Actually, no. Okay, I gotta do this. Let me show you my favorite moment. Do I have it? I don't know if oh crap, I don't have it. I used to have the drop because I'm evil, but I guess I don't have it anymore. But anyway.
Don't worry, he thought he did because he's old. I had to.
Sense their hand. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Jared, be careful.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
Oh, you're saying I'm Maverick in this analogy. I'll take that.
You are not sending me to the cool.
All right. Let's get back on track. I gotta say, I like the thematic symmetry of their powers, where Raven's powers come from the control of emotions, and Starfire is the letting go of the emotions. But I do find it interesting how Starfire is actually the one to kind of start to get a handle on Raven's powers long before Raven does.
Mm-hmm. I love that scene where they're flying, and then and then Starfire goes, "How do I land?" And then Raven goes, "Just look down at the ground." Okay. Oh no!
So to me, my interpretation of like what's this up with Starfire is it's easier to control your emotions when you already like have a handle on them, because Starfire is used to like guiding her emotions, whereas Raven represses her emotions.
Yeah.
And it's a lot hard. Like, it's like with anything. Like, when you repress something, eventually it comes out. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good compliment to that episode where Beast Boy and Cyborg go into Raven, and you see all of her different variations that have all these different like emotional states.
Agreed. And notice how you don't see any of them actually in her outward personality.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why Teen Titans, I feel like, has kind of caught on, and why it's still actually in the zeitgeist to a degree. We've had 10 years of Teen Titans going, and it still has failed to erase the original Titan show.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to me, this episode is a perfect display of it. This show has it all. The comedy, the humor. I'm going to go out on a limb and say a lot of DC shows of this era try to balance all these things. Teen Titans is the one that does it the best. It does it better than B-TAS, S-TAS, Justice League, Batman Beyond. This is the only one where it can balance everything perfectly. And I think that's why. Because you have horror elements and the comedy elements and like the serious stuff. And then
ironically, in the most kiddie one.
I don't know. This show kind of had like, it hits that perfect beat where, like, yeah, it's kiddish, but it's just mature enough where adults can enjoy it. I mean, we're doing a rewatch.
Well, yeah. Nick and I are both adults. One much older. Yeah, exactly. But my point really is that the show that's like kind of marketed toward a younger demographic is the one that balances horror and all this more mature stuff actually the best.
Yeah, like as far as like the horror stuff, like obviously you got some Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you got a little Terminator-esque, got a little Alien kind of mixed in. Like I could see where they were drawing from the inspiration, and it works. It works because like the terror, like the eyes. Also, I love like with Cyborg, one of his eyes is still red because it's the artificial eye, that the human one is blue. I thought that was kind of a nice touch.
Yeah, that's a very neat detail to have.
Yeah, and they got like the magic angle and whatnot. So yeah, what are some of your thoughts on the show? And then, do you have the Wikipedia pulled up?
I do. Of course I do. Nick.
Give your thoughts, and then I want to do a reference, and we'll see if it's in the trivia tab.
Yeah. So first off, I like this one. I like the pairing of Starfire and Raven in this episode. How like you're right. One is a very emotional person, the other one's very emotionless. It's kind of like a nice little odd couple moment there.
Fire and ice.
I also like Starfire trying to like come up with trying to like pronounce the mall. She calls it the mall of the shopping.
I mean that's kind of her thing, you know.
Yeah, and I like it, and they do that with like Teen Titans Go, and I like that. There's this one scene, the Zack Snyder episode, where she goes, "Zack, can't you fix that in the visual effects?" I love that. And then Zack goes, "I'm sorry, it's unsalvageable."
That's what he said after he took all the negatives from the version that will not be named, and then threw it into a bin and set it on fire. I'm sorry, Warner Brothers. All the Justice League clips that Joss did are unsalvageable. But anyway, one little trivia that I noticed is, you notice that moment where like her hair, like Starfire's hair gets kind of wet and it's like frizzy for the rest of the scene. I feel like that's a clear reference to her comic book hair.
It doesn't say it on here, but it probably is.
All right, what trivia you got for us?
It's interesting to note that Raven's abilities are conversely related to the fact that Starfire's powers all require intense emotion, while Raven's powers are at their best with no emotion at all. So there you go. You still got one. even though no actual changes were made to the appearances of Starfire and Raven, the two look different when their bodies are switched. Raven suddenly appears weak and helpless, and Starfire seems older and more mature.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about that. That's actually so obviously the voice actors didn't do it, but the way the animators animated, like the face, like the way the faces were animated and the way they acted, like it was very clearly different people. Like for example, Starfire's eyes took on a more angled appearance, and Raven's face got a little more rounder, and just like Raven's face
even
was
comment on it. Like Starfire's like, why do I mean, Raven when Starfire's body is like, why? What do you mean I look different?
Yeah. All right. What other factoids you have for us?
It appears that Starfire kept her puppet since it appeared in the quest, while the puppets of the other Titans make an appearance on the wall in Robin's room in Fear itself, along with the Puppet King's controller. So we'll see Easter eggs to this episode later.
Yeah. So Jared, what do you give this episode?
Probably a solid 9.5 out of 10. It's fun. I like the way they bookend where Raven's trying to meditate, and at the end of it, she's kind of opening more to the team, and I feel like that's like an arc that's ongoing throughout the entire show, and I like it. And again, for all the reasons, like all the details that they did with like when the bodies are switched, they look different. And again, I take off the hat. I would have given this a 10 out of 10 if the voice actors had stayed.
Yeah, okay, so I give this a 10 out of 10 because I feel like this is kind of like a perfect Teen Titans episode. It has everything, and the voices to me, I actually like it that they're in different bodies because the animators like animating the characters very differently, because that's something you actually don't see in Justice League, where it's like they kind of move a little bit differently, but it's not like that much, kind of thing. But like the way the anime, like they paid special attention in this episode to how like different they would move, and I really appreciate attention to detail here. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. This has been Jared from the Phoenix Press, and then Nick from Comics League. And remember, I can only close the door. You're the one that has to run into it.